Rangers have a busy summer ahead. An entire rebuild of the current squad is required, so the Bears will need to be smart but quick with their decisions over the next couple of months. However, in today's video, we have some huge transfer news as Rangers are set to be handed a massive transfer blow, as Celtic look set to beat the Ibrox side to a deal. We will look into this in today's video, whilst also going over all the latest Rangers news from the last 24 hours. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. But first, Davide Ancelotti is an interesting name among the runners and riders for the Rangers job, and has now had a Scottish endorsement. Ancelotti is the son of the legendary boss Carlo, and has worked under his father at huge clubs such as Bayern Munich, Napoli, Everton and Real Madrid. Thought to be under consideration by Rangers' new American owners, the 35-year-old would bring a wealth of coaching experience into what would be his first foray into management. Ancelotti is mostly known for his famous dad, and would be stepping out from under his shadow for the first team. But one man who has no doubts about his ability to do so is Tam Courts. The former Dundee United manager forged a strong relationship with the young coach when they did their UEFA Pro Licence course through the Welsh FA. They've stayed in touch since, and Courts insists Ancelotti has what it takes to take charge at Ibrox. He told the media, "Davide absolutely has the mentality and the temperament to manage Rangers, just by his personality. He's very humble, but he has a lot of decisiveness too. He's a man of character and has a bit of steel about him. A lot of that comes from what he doesn't say as opposed to what he does, because he's a man who chooses his words very carefully. He's very humble, but he has a lot of decisiveness too. He's a man of character and has a bit of steel about him. A lot of that comes from what he doesn't say as opposed to what he does, because he's a man who chooses his words very carefully. He's a big name. Players would want to come, not just to play for Rangers, but for him as well. And if top players at Ibrox are casting their eye elsewhere, I think they'd be interested in working with Davide if he was appointed. You might assume that Ancelotti, should he land the job, would be heading to Glasgow without knowledge of the game here. But Courts revealed he was always looking to learn about Scottish football and already had a base knowledge through working with Duncan Ferguson. He added, "Davide, as you might imagine with the Ancelotti name, is very unassuming, but he has a lot of conviction and charisma. He has a lot of good human qualities. Above all else, he's a top person who was keen to learn from everyone. Davide always had a keen interest in the Scottish game. He'd worked with Duncan Ferguson at Everton, so had a bit of an insight into Scottish football. He was always open and very interested in different leagues. Now, Rangers are set to receive a huge transfer blow as Celtic look ready to complete a deal, as Alan Hutton has played down talk of Greg Taylor crossing the Glasgow divide to play for Rangers. The Celtic left-back is out of contract in the summer and expected to move on from the club, with Kieran Tierney having signed a pre-contract to return from Arsenal when his deal there is up, which would likely limit Taylor's involvement. There has been a suggestion Rangers could look to try and tempt the former Kilmarnock left-back across the city, as they look to build their team amid a US takeover involving 49 enterprises. It would clearly be a controversial switch, with the path directly between the two Glasgow rivals, one that is not regularly trodden. Former Rangers defender Alan Hutton isn't convinced of the likelihood of it happening. In fact, he actually expects the Scotland international to stay put and fight it out with Tierney. Hutton was speaking to Boyle Sports and said, "Could Greg Taylor ever make the switch to Rangers? I think it'd be very difficult. I mean, he's had a great career at Celtic, the trophies that he's won. He's been a great servant to the club. I know that they're bringing in Kieran Tierney. Jeffrey Schlupp came in there in the January window. It seems like he's back in the driving seat. Schlupp came in and did really well, but now Greg Taylor's been back involved. I heard that they had offered him an improved contract. I feel that that's probably what he was after and looking for. So I feel that he probably will stay and fight it out with the likes of Kieran Tierney, who's coming back in the summer. But I think it'd be very difficult to go to Rangers. If there was a club in between, if he went somewhere else and then possibly came back, then maybe. But I still think that would be hard. I can't see it happening." In other news, Balogon admits he's not thinking about the prospect of Wednesday night's game at Ibrox against Dundee United being his last, with no contract offer at Ibrox on the table yet for next season. Balogon, 37, signed a one-year extension last summer, having rejoined the club in the summer of 2023. The Nigerian defender had previously been released in 2022 after 2 years at Ibrox under Steven Gerrard and Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Contract renewals are on hold with a new manager en route to Ibrox and Kevin Thelwell, the club's sporting director, starting in June. Asked post-match about his future, Balogon was unable to provide any updates, but admitted he is happy to wait and find out if there's an opportunity to remain in Glasgow. "I think I have no choice," Balogon said on the prospect of an uncertain few weeks. "I'm very blessed that my father, from a young age, taught me the value of patience. So I'm just going to have patience, as always, as I've had all my life, with many things, and then I just have to see what's happening. It's hard to say when I will know because it's not in my control. I don't know what stage the whole thing is. I mean, they're on the search for a manager, I don't really know, so it's not my business really, until it becomes mine, hopefully. I don't know if there are any deadlines, I can't say. I would tell you, but I can't." On the prospect of Wednesday night against United being his final outing at Ibrox, he continued, "I try not to think about it too much. I'm quite relaxed, to be honest, but maybe that's just who I am. I can be very, very emotional, but I will keep that for the moment where I have certainty, which I don't have at the moment. My future? It's written in the stars, so I'll trust the big man upstairs and some people up here in the club, so we'll see." Balogon, who has been a pick whenever fit for Barry Ferguson, did add that his age is not a barrier to performance despite turning 37 this season. Without trying to sound arrogant, age is nothing but a number, he added. "I've looked after myself throughout my whole career pretty well, I'd like to think, which is the reason why I can still perform at this level. If I felt that I was starting to really struggle, I would admit it, but I absolutely do not feel that way." Finally, James Tavernier has insisted he is not looking beyond the end of his contract at Rangers as he addressed his future at Ibrox. The Rangers captain has 1 year left on his current deal at Ibrox, with this summer marking 10 years at the club. But Tavernier has refused to be drawn on his future after that contract comes to an end, as he vowed to give everything for Rangers. The right-back, 33, is settled in Scotland and insisted he wants to win more things, but stopped short of looking beyond his current contract. "I have got 1 more year left. I am not looking beyond that," said Tavernier. "I am settled as I have been, and I want to win more things. That's what I want to do. I will continue to give everything that I have got, keep working hard, and try to achieve bigger and better things for the club." Asked to reflect on a decade at Rangers, Tavernier said to Sky Sports, "Roller coaster. It has gone very quick. My regret is obviously all those years not getting as many trophies as I would have wanted. That is probably the downside to it. But personally, when I eventually do hang my boots up, a lot more years down the line, I look back at it and I can say I gave everything." But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. We post all the latest Rangers news every single day, so make sure you join our fast growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.